Carly Snart here with Neil's Next Top Nail Artist Challenge 3. This week's challenge was sponsored by Lechat, and the challenge was Perception versus Reality. It was inspired by Lechat's line of Perception Polish, which is some very clear, cool, jelly colored polish. For my inspiration for this challenge, I chose the perception of people on social media versus real life. So to get started on these nails, I built out some clear nails with builder gel. I chose to use sculpture tips because I think it makes them a little bit extra clear. And after building out those nails, I popped those forms off, and I used Wildflower's Freedom Liquid before I put these nails on, which allowed me to pop those nails right back off super easily and design them way easier. So to start off painting the bottom of my nails, I chose to paint a design on the top of my nails, then flip it over and trace it on the bottom. Just because, as you might notice on some of these pictures I have here, it's a little distorted on the underneath. So kind of what's on the underneath is a little bit more narrow, and then when you flip it over, it's way more wider and bubblier. And then I wipe off that gel I used on top without curing it to get a better look at what I had going on there on the underneath. Then I did it again. I painted a little bit on top, and just to get a feel for where things need to be, and then I flip it over, and on the underneath I traced over that to make sure that I had like all the proper dimensions. So to create a look on the underneath of the nail that's going to be seen on the top of the nail was a little tricky, I found, because you kind of have to do everything as far as your layering of colors and line work backwards or in reverse. So I had to start out with my outline, then I could do a little bit of color. Like for my pupils here, I had to start with the pupil, then I could go in with the brown color, and then I could go in with the white to fill in the outside of the pupil so that when I flip it, you can see everything is layered up correctly. Then I went in with my last layer, which was my skin color, and I just coated the whole thing with that. And then when I flip it over, it looks cool. And I did this with my emojis I made as well. I started to paint like a perfect circle kind of on the top, then flip it over and trace that, because the circles even were a little bit narrower, like oval shaped on the back. So just so I didn't confuse myself and I got like a more symmetrical circle, I painted on the front and then I painted on the back. And then I painted some little emoji faces using the same technique as my face. I had to layer up everything backwards, so I painted the tongue first and then outline of the shading of the inside of the mouth on top of that. And I went back in and covered up my whole emoji's faces with the solid color. And I went over everything on the bottom, on the back with unicorn tears, just to give it a little bit of like kind of a staticky look, kind of like a TV screen from back in the day. Then I went over the top of all my nails with black ice, the translucent perception polish. And then I started to make a fist smashing through a screen, and to make the skin color I mixed Brush Blush, Flawless White, and Happy Dance, and I got a pretty good skin color. Then I filled that in. Much easier to paint on the top of the nails than on the bottom of the nails. Then I gave her red cute little nails, and then I started with Lechat's Metalicious Platinum Rush color to create some cracks that I'm like recreating like a cracked screen, like she's punching through the screen, trying to escape this social media world. And then I put a little dog filter on her face, again mixing some harmony with the Flawless White to create that color, and then going back in with the regular color harmony to create some shading in her nose. Then using the very tip of my brush, I very lightly sprinkled on some dots there to create the little speckles for whiskers. Then I went over the top of my nails with some translucent, using Happy Dance for the yellow emojis. Some of them were translucent and some were solid. Just you could see that doubled up layered look. And again with the metallic colors, Gold Digger, I made some little sparkles on her face. And of course I topped everything off with matte to just make it that dramatic, crazy looking, like she's trapped inside an iPhone and she's trying to escape the social media crazy world. And I hope you guys liked my video. Me and Jacob worked very hard on these. Thanks for watching. Follow me on social media, and voting starts February 4th.